contribute to the positive atmosphere and better understanding even about some of the things which we are doing for the sake of all of us, I would say, within the EU. I'll share with you some of my views regarding the Croatian chairmanship to the Council of the European Union, but also I'll try to spread the word a bit about what we are doing, how we are doing, and when we like to go through and where we would like to reach. It's already almost 1/3 of the presidency is over, hopefully. On one hand, well, just to give you a brief picture, how does it look like? Last Monday I was with, in bilateral, from bilateral perspective of being a Croatian ambassador in one of the EU member states. Last Monday I was at the Committee for European Affairs at Hungarian Parliament, presenting the priorities and discussing. Some Q&A part was also part of it. It was internal discussion. Then Wednesday it was a Cup of Europe. It was a nice get-together. A cup of this, cup of that. This time it was Cup of Croatia. And in a month it will be a Cup of France, for example. So it's nice to be in this company. It was at the European Commission seat in Budapest. And it was a nice get-together with public audience of approximately 100 persons. A lot of questions regarding Croatia, Croatian presidency, Croatian tourism, but also Rijeka is the European capital of culture for this year. Then on Thursday, I was at your sister university at Ludovica. Presenting again the priorities. It was the presidency and the post-Brexit. Today I'm with you dealing with presidency, but in a more global context regarding the challenges we are surrounding of, and I'd like to share with you some ideas regarding the challenges, and then I'll skip to the presidency and our priorities. But prior to that, maybe we could have a small promotion movie which speaks about Croatian presidency. I hope you will have some impression, additional impression by seeing it.
Sjećam se podijeljene Europe i Hrvatske same na grubom moru. Ali vratili smo se kući i naš put tek počinje.
Svima će nam trebati brodovi kada more naraste do tu. Ali ja imam plan kako pomoći ljudima. Znate, kao Nikola Tesla.
Svaki izazov je prilika. Da bismo bili spremni za budućnost, trebamo tehnologiju i inovacije i tim koji ideje pretvara u stvarnost. Na početak svega je ljubav.
Nakon studija vratili smo se ovdje na Didov vinograd. Podigli smo obitelj i lijepo. Ostali smo na djedovini, ali povezani s cijelim svijetom. I u igri, i u poslu.
Povezati se s pravim partnerima pomaže u postizanju ciljeva.
Posebno kad stremiš vrhu svijeta.
Pomažemo jedni drugima.
Zajedno smo sigurni.
Ove ruke grade brodove. Ali mi stvaramo i umjetnost, nadahnuti različitošću. riječi otkrivamo tko smo ili tko nismo. U Europskoj uniji svi smo povezani.
Baš poput naše Hrvate koja je osvojila svijet.
Kada zajedno igramo, zajedno pobjeđujemo.
I slavimo poput obitelji.
Mi smo Hrvatska, mi smo Europa. Snažna Europa u svijetu punom izazova.
But let's get to, let's say, more serious issues, but which are on the same line of the movie, I would say, somehow. We are triggered and encountered with a lot of interesting moves around us in an international or global setting, and I'd like to share with you some of the things. Let me get familiar with. This will be my presentation, but nevertheless, I'll leave it with you and I'll try to skip through, but I'll pass through it from the beginning to the end, so you would have the idea of what I was trying to say, but also I will add some other things. Let me start by introducing somehow the presidency. I mean, on one hand, this is the first time for Croatia to preside the European Union after only 6-7 years of being the fully fledged member of the EU, which is also additional, let's say, importance and obligation but we are not alone. We are a part of the trio, on one hand. Well, hopefully the finishing part of the trio, but we are already in a very close contact with Germany, who is heading the next trio to go. So it is a joint endeavor, joint venture. Additionally, this is the first time that one member state is also not only presiding the EU, but also having a privilege or being offered that one of its cities is European capital culture, which we find extremely important. It's Rijeka, city of Rijeka. The program is called Port of Diversity, which also speaks by itself, but not to lose the time. I'm ready for any answers and questions later on, but maybe try to hurry through this. This I find very important. United Europe. We presume that is the endeavor which functions only in common, when you're acting in common, or jointly, not being uniform or unique. That is the Croatian approach towards the European Union. That was something that we were, I would say, fighting for when we were approaching Croatia by individual approach, not the regional approach. Yes, being with left and right, with up and down, but individually. The last but not least, again, this motto, which speaks by itself, really we are in a world of challenges. I may prove it by this. I mean, here's a series of very, I would say, pregnant things I try to say in a short. First of all, we are sharing this post-Westphalian challenge, I would say. We are in a world which is changing. I mean, the usual Westphalian approach is state-to-state approach. We moved further. We are currently in a situation, I would say, state to society. But the general idea or the end of this road would be to have society-to-society contact. Then it goes to the individuals and comes back and so on and so forth. But new contexts. World of 21st century is a bit different, or slightly different, or very different. And in each and every phase, before Trump and after Trump. Tremendous changes, tremendous differences, different angle of approach. What was, to make a long story short, what was good is now bad. From some of the thinkers, or some of the leaders, or some of the actors and factors in international, obviously, competition. So with those different national, group, individual, any other, just name it, actor and factor, you have a wide variety of interests, wide variety of norms, and wide variety of values. No uniform values. With all the declarations, with all being with certain idea or certain set of values, but then again, a bit of difference. This could be dangerous from time to time, obviously. And it's shown in a number of species, a number of different spheres or fields of occupation. How does it look like today? It's absolutely new, absolutely different. Try to compare it 20 years ago and today. Today, first, what is the international factor? The state, still, with all respect to all the other factors and others. But the state, more than 200 independent states, almost 200 within the UN system, as the fully fledged member states. Then plus Taiwan and plus, I don't know, 10 islands, nobody knows the names, and that's it. More than 200 independent states with their relationship. Try to count it, numerous number of, how many bilateral trade arrangements would we need, for example. But it's not only the states. The additional players are running around. It is the public sector. It is the very private sector. NGOs, transnational corporations. So a number of players with I would say, ever-raising role of each and every other, of each and other of them. So it is not so comfortable to live in such a variety of species, I could say even. You have the tremendous we are witnessing that also in this very part of Europe, tremendous transition and transformation being provided in our territories. I mean, in Western Europe we have this transformation from communities to the Union, and in this part of Europe you have the full transition and transformation accomplished, not but whatever, but processes, and leaning with the Western Europe. So a number of trends and processes which are diverse, I would say, by themselves. And then you have the new realities. Bretton Woods, yes, but. Everything exists, but. With what the result? Sustainable development, not only the catchword, not only a common target, but also, I mean, what you see in practice, further north-south diversification or fragmentation or polarization. With all the sayings and declarations and promotions of sustainable development as this or as such. There is a crisis of dialogue on multilateral, on bilateral level. There is also a different leadership being created globally, internationally, but also regionally and nationally, not to go even deeper. This very fact of the construction of NAFTA is very, very significant or dangerous detail, I would say, or could be a particular trigger. And then EU27. not 28 anymore. I mean, willingly, less willingly, with or without, because of 50 plus something or because of whatever. But very democratic decision, full stop. On 32nd of December of this year, we are going to have only 27 member states, full stop. With this or that impulses towards not only Brexit, but then migrations, terrorism, climate changes, energy security, Catalonia even, Catalonia. Nobody thinks about it, or just a few. Then is it the way towards better integration, or this is simply a disintegration, and so on and so on. A number of these, not to mention this very dangerous illness coming even to Italy, which is quite close to us. We were on the boat just recently. I mean, so it's not too far. So in these very new relations, where are the further processes to go on? Of course, I'm not Leonardo of any kind, or someone who could see the ball, but obviously new relations are existing. And what are the hierarchies? What are the approaches? I mean, traditionally we speak about liberalism, mainstream, and populism, let's call it that way in this frame. But you could call it left and right, whatever it means today, because some brave were speaking about left and right, saying, you know, those who are on the right, they are so close to the left because they made a circle in their life, and so you don't know still today who is left and right. Read the programs of the parties, political parties. I mean, everybody's declaring about social issues. Everybody's speaking about, you know, humble retired persons. Everybody's declaring on youth. Everybody's declaring on good things. But at the end of the day, the life is like it is. So who is moving whom? This is this very, very triggering world of today, when it's options, opportunities, but I would mere speak about the limitations, unfortunately. Although it's sunny, but it's the outside, I'd say. Let's hope for more insight. I mean, but these post-Westphalian structures are still not created. It's still under creation. So we still have here and there the players, but not the full story being told. So we'll see how it will go on different levels. But for sure, we should go out somehow from crisis and recession. I mean, we did it after 2008. Now it's, let's say, a comfortable period of time regarding economic trends. But for how long, it's always the question. And how in-depth they are. We'll see how does it look, this new multipolarity, which is something obviously different than US-led unipolarity, which has dominated for years and decades after the Second World War, or until the Berlin Wall, or even a bit further. And then this new creation with China, with India, with Chindia, with China, India. Yeah, some are speaking about Chindia as a term in literature. But okay, I count on creation, I count on innovation, specialization, and individuality, I would say. To go on further would be quite complicated in this part of pregnant part of time, so I will try to skip. But these are some of the lessons from Croatian past when we were entering the European Union, and when we were reaching step by step, or sometimes running, sometimes slower, the levels, the values, the standards, the norms of the European Union. I think it's important to mention them here, at least. this whole venture of becoming the fully fledged member of EU, I would say it's all about creativity or being sensitive about it. You should understand that you should learn your lesson and you should do your lesson. I mean, it is not liking, disliking. I mean, we will speak to Germans and then we'll go faster, or we will speak to French because they are always curious, or we will speak to Dutch because they are very stubborn. These are the cliches, stereotypes. This is a seek and hide story of politicians, I would say. Being just a humble diplomat from '93, please understand, it is a very, very in-depth process of changes. You should leave your rucksack out. For our Hungarian friends, it's quite understandable. We still have a part of the rucksack from socialist period of time. Hopefully, Maya and Younger are out of that. But I still, from time to time, find myself discussing, okay, mostly with myself, not with others, some of the things which are rudimentary inside somehow. I mean, the state will help, for example, not to go into more details. It's out of question for any, not scholar, any student in Netherlands or in France or in any of other very, very colleague and partner member states of the European Union, who are, of course, more developed in a number of senses. But in a number of senses, we are equal or even better. So, but don't try to compete. That's my lesson. But be creative and be sensitive about understanding. Then the process of enlargement is the strongest transformation mechanism because it puts you in a frame. It provides you with ammunition for fighting the troubles in a very legal, and I would say at least better, the best democratic way that is already known in our international history. So at least it gives you the best of what is offered. So try to lean with it. Then more education and less administration. Always something that we are trying to reach. There's a number of concerns and challenges for most of newcomers. But maybe I could, among those three that I mentioned, I could concentrate on this lack of understanding of who's dealing with whom, or what about these EU commitments? And it's not the question who. It's not the question who. Question is what. What and how. The rest, leave the rest. Don't lose your temper and time on doing why it is a question. Do the homework and go further. That's why I would underline political responsibility. It goes for the individuals, not only politicians. Each and every individual has its political responsibility to himself, to his family, to his, I don't know, relatives, whatever, brothers, fathers, mothers, wives, mother-in-law. And professional understanding, of course. Current EU setting. You know everything about it, but at least stick to coordination, negotiation, and again, reach some effectiveness and responsibility. These are the best standards of functioning. It's always a question, national versus EU policies, but there is a not only possibility, a need, but also a quite obvious balance of the both. So it could go. I mean, 2 legs, it's easy to walk. I mean, not so hard to walk with 2 legs, we all know that. EU national policies. Well, some advantages and some challenges I mentioned here, but what should smaller states do? Smaller member states in particular. Economy of volume. It is something which is hampering us in this and any way. I mean, if you have something in culture, but you don't have it in any field. If you have something in football, you don't have it in handball. If you have it in handball, you don't have it in basketball, and so on and so on. If you have it, you have one team, they have 10 teams. If you have, so always the figures, but leave the figure aside. Be the best in some of the fields, and use that as a moving mechanism. For instance, Croatia is trying to lean on economical. We are leaning mostly on tourism. Tourism for Croatia is like car industry for Hungary. You wouldn't hear it quite often like this. Obviously, it is 1/3 of everything that Croatia is exporting, producing, achieving. More than 1/3 of employment. It all goes for car industry in Hungary also. So with or without it makes absolutely no difference. The rest is obviously needed and very important and so on. It's even more than this 1/3. But this 1/3 shows that you are effective or less effective. So Hungary with good results in car industry, with better car industry even here. But there is obvious grey cloud coming also from US, speaking about 5 to 25% of taxes on car production made in Europe and so on and so on. So with tourism, with this terrible disease being on the other side of the Adriatic Sea, it will affect Croatian tourism this year for sure. And without, let's say, of course it's a joke, without doubling the number of Hungarians coming to the Adriatic coast, we are going to have a problem. But of course, I mean, it's a joke about doubling.
They want to visit you, don't worry.
Okay, you can find.
Several times, yes.
Okay. But, so there's a number of things that was, I'll try to skip it because the time is running, I know, and I'm sorry for eating the time, but to speak about our relationship, I could give you some answers when you pose the questions. Maybe to skip it and to come to the presidency. I mentioned some of the things in my introduction, so I will skip this Croatian Press 2020 in Hungary. But these additional remarks regarding EU in 2020. These things are, or these issues are the most triggering ones not only in our presidency, but also for the EU in the current situation. Multinational financial framework. First heavy and in-depth discussion was held by heads of prime ministers, by heads of governments or states, just a couple of days ago, last weekend in Brussels. Good thing is that it was discussed. Now everybody knows what's in and what's out. So it was, I would say, a step further. So for the second round in a couple of weeks, I presume we will have more accurate and more closer options on the table. That does not mean the thing will be solved, but preparation for getting closer has been done. And I'm really convinced that everybody is responsible to think of having the real budget really until the mid-year, because if we will run with the budget and Brexit and only heaven knows what at the end of the year would be a trouble. So it's better to have it in a couple of months, and there are some signs that there is a possibility for that. Of course, it's better that everybody is not happy than that's just some of the countries are happy. So it's better that everybody is a bit unhappy, but we go further. Withdrawal agreement, very special thing. I mean, there's no core agreement within the EU that was negotiated in less than 12 years, but it is a very specific situation. So I would again call against comparative analysis when approaching the withdrawal agreement. I mean, it is an agreement per se, and so it could work. I heard yesterday from my Prime Minister that he had good talks with Johnson just yesterday, and it seems that there is an area of understanding, I mean, already. Conference on the Future of Europe is the most interesting, triggering, or fascinating thing that was recently created. Speaks about demography, speaks about people, speaks about opportunities. It's really a hard one, and I hope that the first elements will be prepared in those first 2 years, let's say, before 22, and the big conference that is the idea to have it. It will be launched on 9th of May, symbolic day for Europe. Then enlargement process, it was in the back for a period of time, and now with Croatian and further German presidency, I think it will have the momentum. We already reached some things regarding the enlargement. First of all, the summit has been inaugurated, so it will be held in the beginning of May in Zagreb. It will be 20 years from previous enlargement summit for Western Balkans. 20 years has passed. Now there is already an idea which is becoming a decision to have the summit meetings every 3 years, which is a momentum, which is a mechanism. You give the perspective. Secondly, there's an agreement on economic and financial plan to be offered. Real investment plan. Not only just the business conference with the summit meeting. I mean, we saw it, we attended a series of them, a number of them, not to count them. But a serious economic and financial plan with if you do this, you will have this. So it's not the menu, pick and choose. It will be what happens when you do this. And what is offered that you could easily make this or that. So it would be a kind of map or road map, but with very good financial envelope. So it will help the process, I suppose. So those are the things that are already agreed. Even so, just to add, Southern Macedonia and even Albania are almost out of question as becoming the accession countries. So candidate countries. So we are hoping very soon, still in March, to have a decision. Migrations, you may ask. Who knows what I will answer, but. And then green plan, extremely important, but yeah. So in general, we're always talking about economic growth, sustainable development. We are always talking about environment protection, innovations, new technologies, digitalization, or connections, connectivities. And then we are coming to the priorities, hopefully. We have a motto, which speaks by itself, but also those 4 legs for walking. I mean, it's easier than by 2 only, but 2 plus 2 gives something. First, we'd like to deal with Europe that develops. That means with balanced, sustainable, and inclusive development as such, but it means essentially, I'll come back to it. Then, Europe that connects people, but connects also sources. So it means traffic, energy, and digitalization at least. Then Europe that protects internally and externally. I mean, its citizens, but it strengthens the mechanisms inside and outside. And finally, influential Europe. Influential Europe in its neighborhood of global or international. By saying influential Europe, I would like to add that the best chance for the European Union to prove itself or to show itself as a factor and actor in international relations is to show the willingness for stronger enlargement process. To show itself that it could help the first neighbors. If the EU shows that it is able to support the first ones, the first neighbors, let's say neighbors indeed, but the first neighboring countries, first-line countries, then it will have the merit to speak also what shall we do somewhere in Asia or in Africa or in Latin America or elsewhere, or even in the headquarters of the World Bank or IWS or still the key positions of the world. I would not go through the 4 priorities in detail because the time is running, but let me just conclude by, of course, I'm available for you for a period of time still, but to come to the concluding remarks. We are first, like I started, we are thankful for Romania and Finland for their collaboration and paving the way for our part of the trio endeavor, and we look forward to continuing with the others. The other thing is we would like to share the benefits not only with Croats and within Croatia, not only with our first neighbors like Hungary, but also within the EU area, but also elsewhere, to show that the EU is still running and running well. And then we are confident that our presidency ballot will go smoothly to Germany and with some particular results. Some of them I have tackled during my presentation. Thank you for your patience and your time. All the best.